This video is brought to you by MOFT. As a tech content creator, I get to use and test a lot of tech, but there's only so much that I use day to day, and this is where some of the best products stick around and become part of my EDC, or my everyday carry. Now, in this video, I want to walk you through each of these products, share with you why I use them, and share some of my favorite features of each. As always, guys, I will leave all the purchase links down in the description to all products shown today. But before we get started, I am doing a giveaway on this brand new iPhone 14. And if you want a chance to win, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment with your Instagram username. And then follow me on Instagram at Dion Schuddeboom, where I will announce the winner on April the 29th. So to start, let me show you my phone of choice. Now, the phone I use does change quite often. As someone who, of course, reviews many phones, I typically like to switch to a new phone around a week or so before doing my review or comparison videos. So, for example, I recently switched from the Galaxy S23 Ultra, great phone as well, but there's one that I just keep coming back to, and that is none other than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and here's why. To me, the 14 Pro Max really offers the ultimate iPhone experience. First, you get this really premium design. I love the stainless steel edges on the frame. Not only does this look premium, it feels good in the hand, also very durable. This phone has been dropped a few times, but it's held up really well. I love the matte black glass on the back here, especially great in the space black color. Doesn't show many fingerprints, and again, altogether really creates a very premium looking phone, which is something that I would expect for this price. Now, you also, of course, with the Pro Max model, get this really large 6.7-inch display. Now, as someone who runs part of their business, part of this YouTube channel right off my phone, this larger display means everything is more comfortable. So reading text, notifications, emails, things are just more clear and easy to see on this larger display. This allows me to be more productive and essentially get more done. And I can tell you, once you get used to the larger 6.7-inch size of the Pro Max, it's going to be hard to go back to the smaller size. And importantly for me, while this is a big phone, it's still semi one-hand usable. So for example, I can still type a message with one hand, just reach the other side of the display if say I'm walking down a busy street and wanting to respond to a message. You also get 10 hours of screen on time, which is of course incredible battery life, meaning this phone can last me all day as well as the evening, still with around 30% or so remaining, something you can't say for many phones, especially smaller phones. And you also get, of course, the latest and greatest A16 Bionic chip from Apple, which today will be super fast, but also for the future, right? Apple supports their phones longer than any, so this here will get probably 5 to 7 years or so of software support, and this is also what determines the how well the iPhone, generally speaking, holds its value, which is of course much better than the Android counterpart. And altogether, this I think really makes it a good investment. Yes, the upfront cost is high, but I think it really does pay for itself over time, considering everything you get for this phone. And again, if you do want to sell it in the future to get the future newest model, say 2 or 3 years down the road, you can easily do so. At the same time, if you want to use this for the next 5+ years, you can do that too. And then in terms of the cameras, the 14 Pro Max, I think, still has the best overall camera system on any smartphone right now, especially when it comes to the video. In fact, I actually use video shot on my 14 Pro Max in my videos quite often. So oftentimes if you'll see outdoor shots of me using a given product, it will actually be shot on the 14 Pro Max. It's of course a camera that is pocketable, right? Easy to take with you on the go. Also doesn't attract too much attention outside. And I found the results from this camera, particularly the 4K footage, to be really fantastic. So good that I can even mix it with my main camera, the Sony a7 IV that you're looking at right now, and it will still complement that footage really well. Another reason I use the 14 Pro Max is also the ecosystem, right? Apple does this like no other, and I mean ecosystem not just in the way that the iPhone incorporates with other Apple products, like the Apple Watch, for example, which we'll look at in a sec, but also the software side of things. So for example, my calendar, my reminders, everything syncs over and is always visible and up to date. And again, especially for those productivity tasks, running a business, this is a really big plus. However, if you do get the 14 Pro Max or any recent iPhone for that matter, I do suggest you get a screen protector. I've been using my 14 Pro Max for the first week or two without a screen protector, and already I've got some scratches on the display. Now, these screens have become more crack resistant, but in that process, the glass has gotten softer and thus have become more prone to scratches from just regular day-to-day use. So I actually use a screen protector from Spigen. I'll be sure to leave that linked in the description. They come with a really handy installation frame, making it easy to apply, and I find them to last long as well. In fact, I've only had one on my phone for, well, I would say a good 8 months or so now, and it's held up very well. Now, the 14 Pro Max, great phone. I love to use it every day, but that doesn't change the fact that it is still a very expensive phone, and thus it is important to protect your investment. And there's really two ways to do this. The first is with a screen protector, which we already talked about, but the second way to do this is with a good case. Now, the case that I use, or the one that I keep coming back to, is Apple's leather case. And I've been using these for years, and for all of that time, these have been my go-to. And the main reason for that is just that premium leather feel, that texture, the look, even that grain that adds a little bit of grip is something you're only going to find with a high quality leather case like this. Now, Apple's leather cases aren't really built for any major drops or anything like that. They're really built first for the look and the feel, and then protection second. So while I think these do a great job at protecting from regular day-to-day use, for example, putting it in and out of your pocket, placing it on a table, you get surface protection by your lenses as well as your camera. These way they don't touch the surface when you place your phone down. Don't expect this to hold up against really high drops, though I actually have dropped this a few times and it's been mostly fine. But if you are looking for more rugged protection, I would go for a more rugged case, which I can also leave linked in the description. But for day-to-day use, nothing beats the comfort, the feel, and I think the look of Apple's leather cases. Now, I also went for the midnight color because, of course, it pairs really well with the space black 14 Pro Max, but also because the darker color does patina in a more subtle way compared to the lighter colors. Now, patina is when the leather will sort of change its texture and look over time. This will come down to personal preference. Personally, I like to have my leather look new for as long as possible, and this is where I think the midnight color has served me very well. So a premium case, both in feel, also in price, but I think is definitely worth it. Apple's leather case is MagSafe compatible, as you'd expect from an Apple case, but this is essential for the next accessory that we're going to look at from MOFT, and this is their stand power set. Now, this consists of two parts. So first we have a wireless battery pack, and then we also have a wallet that doubles as a stand. What is really cool about these accessories is that they use a modular design, so you can sort of mix and match your setup depending on your use case or what you're going to be doing that day. In fact, in most days, I actually just use the wallet accessory, so I just put that right on the back here of the Apple leather case. Of course, both using MagSafe, this also pairs really well in terms of color and gives you a very low profile look while adding a lot of functionality to your phone. Now, the vegan leather wallet accessory actually holds up to 3 cards. Now, here in London, I find myself using Apple Pay for most transactions, so I don't really carry that much cards with me on the go. However, I still need a couple, and this is where this wallet accessory is perfect. You can simply fold down this back part to reveal your cards. I usually have 1 or 2 inside. What is also great is when it is folded up like this, is you can actually double and use it as a stand. So for example, you can have your phone standing in portrait mode and also in landscape mode. This is great if, say, you're watching videos on the go, say commuting, or say during breakfast, you want your phone on the table just to watch that YouTube video. Really great to have on hand and of course built in. And then lastly, when you're actually holding the phone, it actually doubles as a grip. So you have a place to store your finger, which adds just a little bit more grip to your phone, especially great on the larger Pro Max. And then the second part of the setup is of course the battery pack. So this is a 3400 milliamp hour battery pack, also made from the same vegan leather, which adds a little bit of grip. Again, feels great, just like Apple's leather case. I think complements it really well. And because you get that grain texture on both, it actually stays on the phone even better. So I've never had it fall off or even get loose. And what is especially great about this setup is that you have, well, no cables whatsoever. Simply press the button here on the side, as you can see, activate, and then we'll instantly start charging my iPhone. This is so comfortable to use that you can easily, say, charge your phone while having it in your hand, and even have it in your pocket because of its slim, low profile design. I think this is really ideal for those travel days where even the 14 Pro Max can sometimes need just a little top of juice, and this is where this MOFT battery pack really is the perfect setup. And what I think is also really cool is that the battery pack uses pass-through charging. So in the box, you get this nice braided USB-C cable to charge. And what you can do is just plug that into the side of the battery pack, also magnetic by the way, so very easy to take in and off the charger. What you can do is have your battery pack charging, say overnight, place your phone on top of it, and it's then going to charge them one by one. So then in the morning, both your battery pack and your iPhone will be fully charged. And again, I just love the customization, being able to mix and match depending on your day. So whether you just need the battery pack, the wallet, or even bring both, I think this setup from MOFT is the ideal way to add so much functionality to your iPhone and do so in a way that still retains the portability, the pocketability of the iPhone, and do in a way that doesn't compromise on the iPhone's quality with this really premium leather finish that I think complements it really well. Anyway guys, if you want to learn more about the Snap Stand power set from MOFT, be sure to check the links in the description. And this brings me to my watch of choice, and this of course has to be an Apple Watch. Now if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you'll know that some of my first tech videos were actually about the Apple Watch Series 3, which was my first Apple Watch, and I've been using an Apple Watch every day ever since. And at the moment, my go-to watch has been the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, is this watch for everyone? No. In fact, if you are looking for the best value, I would suggest going for the SE2, and if you are looking for the best overall Apple Watch, I would suggest the Series 8, as that really offers a lot for the money. So why do I choose to use the Apple Watch Ultra? Well, first of all, I love this big utilitarian design, and much like on the 14 Pro Max, with this big design, you get a big display, and this gives you a lot of advantages. First, in reading notifications, responding to text, looking at street names, say if you're looking at a map whilst on the go, this larger display is just more comfortable to use and allows you to get more done at just a glance on the wrist. And the Ultra also gets a really big battery. In fact, every other Apple Watch, including the SE2 and Series 8, lasts about one full day of use, which is good, but the Apple Watch Ultra can comfortably last 2 days and even stretch it to almost 3 days with lighter use and depending on how you use and set up your Apple Watch. And this is really great as you just never have to worry about the battery dying. And on shorter trips, say 1 or 2 day trips, I don't even have to pack the charger. And then the titanium case and the true sapphire display on the Apple Watch Ultra have also held up really well. So from day-to-day use, I've had no scratches on either, something I can't say about the SE2 or the Series 8, which will damage over time, unfortunately, but the Ultra here has held up exceptionally well. Now, the Ultra does also come with a lot of extreme sports features, and this may come as a surprise to you, but I actually don't do too many of the extreme sports, but here are my top 3 use cases for the Apple Watch. So first is receiving and reading notifications. Now, getting notifications right on the wrist is super convenient, as I find it to be a great way to stay in touch with what's important without being taken out of your current task. So I only send important notifications to my watch, so this way when it goes off, I know it is something important, say a close friend, family member, next of kin messaging me. So I'll always check those messages when they come in, and then I can choose to respond later or even respond right on the watch. Now, the Ultra does have a pretty good on-screen keyboard. You can also dictate, for example, to reply to longer messages. I also found the Apple Watch to actually result in less screen time on my phone. For example, if I check a notification on my phone, I'm very likely to interact or respond to that notification and then go to the home screen and open a couple more apps, refresh a couple feeds or so, the kind of thing you won't do on the Apple Watch. So this actually lessens the screen time on the iPhone. And then up next, there is also Siri. Now, Siri is not the best digital assistant in the world. Did you get that, Siri? I think so. But it is useful to have because it is right on the wrist, and because it's so accessible, I found myself actually using it more. So while I'm cooking, I will set a timer, add a reminder, calendar event. Again, because of that added convenience that the Apple Watch brings, I found myself using it more. And then number 3, there is the activity rings. And this is a great way to sort of encourage me to get at least moderate levels of exercise each day. You want to kind of fill these rings every day, or at least get as close to that as possible. And I find this to really work well, as it kind of gamifies the process. And I know that, say, late at night, I still haven't completed my rings. I may go for that extra evening walk just to close those rings. I find it to be encouraging and ultimately good for your health. Anyway, that's just 3 of my top use cases of the Apple Watch. Now, there are many more, but I don't have time in this video to go into them. I have done a more thorough video on why I think you should use an Apple Watch, which I'll be sure to leave linked in the description as well. But all in all, it's not as much about what kind of features the Apple Watch can do that my iPhone can't already do, as much as it is how does my Apple Watch change the way I do those things. In other words, it adds convenience in many small ways, whether it be notifications, exercise, that altogether I think really creates for a big change and is the reason why I use the Apple Watch every day. Now, in terms of the band, I'm currently using the Alpine Loop. This here is the green one. You may recall if you've seen my unboxing of the Ultra, I actually started off with the orange band. I love the color. I think that bold, bright color fits this design, not to mention this nice action button also in orange. But I have found the band to be a little bit difficult to wear for certain occasions, especially if it's a little bit more formal, where I think this green color looks a lot better. It is just more subtle and I think kind of matches my style more in terms of having a touch of color, but still being understated. But what about music? Well, I actually use both in-ear and over-ear headphones every day. So when I'm editing, I love to use over-ear headphones when I'm at home. But when I'm on the go, nothing beats the portability of a good pair of in-ear earbuds. And for this, my go-to are the Apple AirPods Pro 2, which I would say are the gold standard of in-ear earbuds, and there's a good reason why. First of all, I love the tiny case, and this is something that many earbud manufacturers get wrong, where the case is just way too big, but this is something you carry with you every day, so it has to be small, it has to be pocketable, and the case here on the AirPods Pro 2 is very small. And despite it being so small, it actually has a pretty big battery built inside, so I find the case can last me for around a whole week with daily use, where the earbuds themselves can last me for a whole day or so with on and off use. The buds themselves are also super comfortable in the ear. I love how you have the interchangeable ear tips. Of course, them being an in-ear design also automatically helps them block out a lot of noise just passively without even the ANC, which we'll get on in a sec. I also really like the stem controls that you get on the earbuds. This is a very tactile way to control your earbuds, so you really get this clicking sensation. You're not actually pressing a button, but it almost feels like it when you press them, all the way down to a little click sound when you do. And this, I think, gives you a little bit more confidence when interacting with the headphones to make sure that your command really gets through. And because the controls are on the stem and not on the actual sort of upper earbud portion of the earbud, means that you don't move the earbuds in your ear when you are using them, and vice versa. When you are adjusting the earbuds in your ear, you're not accidentally touching controls. So I think this really is the best implementation of touch controls that I've seen so far. And then, of course, most importantly for any pair of in-ear buds or headphones in general is the sound quality. And this is where the AirPods Pro 2 are the best sounding earbuds that I've actually used so far. So first you get a surprisingly wide soundstage, so the sound really sounds big as opposed to narrow, which is something that's hard to achieve with a pair of in-ear buds. The sound is also vibrant, so you get really deep thumpy bass. The highs are clean without being too sharp. And at the same time, I would still consider the sound to be quite balanced. So the mid frequencies are very much still present without being sort of taken over by the bass or the highs, as you'll find in some other headphones. All in all, I find these to be great for podcasts, musics of all genre. I think these are really the gold standard when it comes to the design and also the sound quality when it comes to in-ear buds. And then the AirPods Pro 2s also come with excellent ANC. In fact, again, best in class, just like the sound. It really blocks out a lot of the outside noise. So for example, a train hum, engine noise, or a plane noise, anything like that, even people speaking, these do an excellent job. And then at the same time though, the transparency mode on the headphones is actually really good. So if you press and hold the stem, it will switch to transparency mode, where we'll let the voices come in, and voices don't sound robotic like they do on many other earbuds. So for example, if say I'm ordering my morning coffee, quickly turn on transparency mode, I can clearly hear the barista and they can clearly hear me, and then switch back to ANC by simply pressing the stem. Excellent. As is typical with Apple, the AirPods Pro 2s will pair seamlessly with your Apple devices and also switch between them depending on which you are using. So switching from your iPhone to your iPad to your Mac. All in all, I think these really offer the best overall package that I've seen in any truly wireless earbuds, especially if you're already in the Apple ecosystem. And this to me makes them worth the higher asking price. And then we get to what is probably the most low-tech part of my EDC carry, though still has some tech. I am a tech reviewer after all, and that is my key organizer. So this is a key organizer from Orbitkey. I've used this every day for the past 2 years, and I think it's held up exceptionally well. The leather here shows pretty much no use and still looks great. And I think it also matches the rest of my aesthetic with this nice dark leather finish. Kind of goes with my phone case, battery pack, and wallet as well. And overall, I find this to be a really fantastic solution to carrying keys every day. There's really 2 reasons for this. First is that a key organizer is more compact than having your keys on a regular keychain, so like this ring right here. And secondly, it also doesn't rattle. So this is of course silent in your pocket, and because the keys are folded away neatly and tucked away, they're not going to scratch anything else that you have in your pocket. So for example, I actually carry my AirPods Pro case in the same pocket that I carry my keys. And this particular key organizer also came with this really handy multi-tool. Now this is a 9-in-1 tool. I would say the one that I use most is the flathead screwdriver that you get on the top. This is great for mounting cameras. And of course, like any true tech reviewer, I do carry a SIM card tool, unless of course you're in the US, where here in the UK, we still use regular SIM cards. And then attached to my keychain is none other than the Apple AirTag. I have done a review on this. This is a simple but such a useful little product. Great way to track any item. In fact, I have one for each of my main bags as well as my suitcases while traveling, and also one, well, for my keys. I love how easy it is to track items in the Find My app. They last long. They last for around a year or so, and then simply replace the battery. Only costs around $3 or so, and then you can keep using the same AirTag. In fact, this one here I've had for quite a while. See, it's got a little bit of damage, and then I add this nice little touch of color with this red case, and together I think this creates for a really compact setup that still has a lot of functionality. But what do I use to charge all of this tech? Well, for the most part, I actually just use one, and that is this multi-charger from MagBak. Now, the first thing that I really like about this charger is its very thin and sleek design. We got this nice aluminum finish. It is super thin profile, meaning it'll take up very little space on your desk or nightstand. I actually have one in my bedroom and one in my office as well. And well, as the name implies, this is a multi-charger, letting me charge all of my devices. So I can put my AirPods, they rest here in the back, my Apple Watch here on top, and then of course my iPhone using MagSafe will easily align and drop into place. And this, I think, creates a super good looking and very functional all-around package to charge all of my tech every day. So that gives you a look at my EDC or my everyday carry of some of the tech that I use most every day. But I'd love to hear from you. What is your EDC like, and what is some of your favorite tech that helps you throughout the day? Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you'd also like me to do a full-on what's in my tech bag video, where we also look at laptops and tablets. One of the interesting things about this genre of video, it's first time for me actually doing this, is that this will always evolve, right? So I'm definitely going to make an updated version of this some months down the road to see what kind of products stick and what kind of products are new. Once again, guys, I'm going to leave all the purchase links to all the products we looked at today down in the description. Also, of course, links to the MOFT stand power set, a great accessory. I think one of my favorites that we looked at today. A great way to add functionality to your iPhone that I can highly recommend. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And thank you also for bearing with me. This is actually my first video using a new dual camera setup. You may have noticed I have a camera filming me as well as a camera filming up above. And I think this is a big upgrade to the channel, letting me showcase the products as I sort of speak about them. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to this new setup, so I appreciate you bearing with me as we go and as we grow and upgrade the gear. Thanks again for all of your support, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.